Hi everyone, I'm going to go over this week's requirements for the course. So you want to start by clicking on course content at the top, and at the very top of that section is a syllabus. So if you haven't read through the syllabus yet, you want to do so because it goes over the major requirements. Once you've gone through the syllabus, if you scroll down, there is a syllabus quiz. Now when you click on any quiz, it will give you the requirements of the quiz, also the limitations. So if you scroll down, it'll tell you when the quiz is due. It'll tell you how much time you get to take the quiz, and also how many times you can take the quiz, how many attempts you get. So for this quiz, you can take it as many times as you want to get 100%. Just make sure that you read the questions because they do tell you really important information about the course. Back in the course content section, the next thing that you'll do is go into the poetry unit, and there's a Robert Frost folder. It begins with a biography of his life, if you want to learn a little bit about the author, and that is followed by a quiz. Now, when you take this quiz, you'll notice that there is a time limit of 10 minutes, so that's the standard time. If you have accommodations for extra time on quizzes, then you should have a different time setting here. So if you have time and a half permitted, then you have 15 minutes instead of 10. It is an exact amount. There's a 1-minute grace period, but if you don't answer all of the questions within the time period, then it won't let you continue. It will make you turn in your quiz, and any questions you didn't answer will be marked wrong. So make sure you keep an eye on the clock, which will be at the top of the page. But it's not a very long quiz. This quiz has 8 questions total. Most of the quizzes are somewhere from 8 to 10 questions for most of the readings. So they're relatively short quizzes. The quiz only goes over information that is the basics of whatever you read. The who, what, where, when, why, and how. So it's a reading check to see if you read and read carefully and understood what you read when you read the poem. It isn't asking you questions about the meaning. It doesn't ask you about theme. It doesn't ask you about symbols. That's more complicated stuff. This is just a reading check. Okay? When you're done, it will let you know your score. It won't go over the questions with you because other people may still be taking that quiz. You only get 1 attempt on this quiz, so make sure that you're ready when you take it. Also note that when you go through the quiz, you can only go forward 1 question at a time. So after you have passed a question, you cannot go back to it. So make sure you think about every question, okay, in order that it is presented to you. Now, with every reading, there is a homework assignment with it. And I noted in the syllabus quiz that you should not be using outside websites to understand the literature. They can be helpful, but sometimes they are also misleading. Things like GradeSaver or Shmoop or SparkNotes or CliffNotes or anything like that is not permitted in this course. But frankly, you don't need to look at that stuff, which could actually end up misguiding you in some ways. If, for instance, you read it and you interpret it wrong. Or sometimes CliffNotes, the way they explain things is a little too simplistic, and sometimes it's just hard to understand. So instead of relying on those, I've actually explained everything for you. So these 2 videos here that you can see, and these link out to videos on YouTube, you will not see these links until you have completed your quiz. So after you take your quiz and submit it, then you're going to get these 2 links pop up in the Frost folder. And these are geared specifically towards the questions in your homework. Not everything, which might be way too much to cover for what we read. But these discussions are really just about these homework-related questions and a little additional insight so you understand the reading better. So don't go to Shmoop, don't go to CliffNotes. I've got them for you right here, and I've actually explained everything you need to know. So if you watch the videos, just take some notes, and then that'll help you to answer the questions. Okay? It's a good idea to look at the forum questions before you watch the videos too. That way you kind of know what you're looking for. And read the instructions carefully. For this forum, answer 1 of these 2 options below. So don't answer both. There are instructions here about how to start your response and also how to document your quotes, because you have to use at least 1 or 2 lines from the poem in your response because you want to give evidence for why your assessment is correct. So when you put your quote from your reading into your response, you want to document it correctly, whether you're using a book or maybe you read Frost's poem on a website instead. You'll choose one of the two options, and then for your single choice, 200 words are required, 200 words or more. That will include the quote, but don't put in huge quotes, okay? Only quote what is necessary for you to add to your explanation. Now, if you're not sure if you're doing this process right, you can always email me your work and ask me to look at it for you, and I can send you some feedback on anything you might need to change, okay? Just make sure you send me your work with enough time for me to get back to you prior to the deadline. I'm teaching 7 classes. That's a lot of emails. So if you want to make sure you're helped, start a little bit early, okay? And that's going to be the similar process as we go through each of the readings. You'll get the quiz. Once you take the quiz, the explanations will be unlocked and you can watch those videos and then use your notes from those videos to answer your forum questions. Very simple, okay? If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to email me at any time.